Hello, I am Laura Greiner, and I am on the Adult Faith Formation Commission. I would like to start with reading the orientation from our parish vision that Father Dan shared with us, and then begin sharing with you our way of proceeding from our parish vision. Our orientation. This is a reading from John. What we have heard and what we have seen with our eyes, what we looked upon and touched with our hands, concerns the word of life, for the life was made visible. What we have seen and heard, we proclaim now to you. Our shared experience of Jesus Christ, the word of life, is foundation of College Church. We are grateful for the abundant graces received. We recognize the good work God has done for us and with us. As we consider our future, we hear and see and proclaim a profound need for reconciliation with God, one another, and creation. A deep desire for an authentic encounter with Christ and each other. A great hunger for communion with others and accompaniment along life's journey. Our way of proceeding. This is a particular way for us to hear and respond to the call of Christ. These guiding principles are how we intend to operate with one another. They will guide our work and provide us with the clarity to adjust course as needed. Ignatian Spirituality. We seek to facilitate personal encounter with God, become a more discerning community, be free of unnecessary attachments, and deepen our connection to the mission and identity of the Society of Jesus. As a Jesuit parish, we are rooted in Ignatian spirituality. Allow me to pose some questions for your personal reflection. What drew you and keeps you attending St. Francis Xavier College Church, this Jesuit parish? What does it mean for you to be part of a Jesuit parish? Before these challenging times of COVID-19 and racial injustice, before this spring, can you describe how your prayer life carried you through difficult times and how it had been a source of rejoicing during good times? Since the spring began with sheltering in place during a pandemic and racial injustices defined and exposed so clearly, there is no doubt much more weighing on our hearts and minds. Have you been able to encounter our Lord throughout these days as well as before? Allow me to share with you how I personally experience Ignatian spirituality by describing in my words what was stated in our way of proceeding to address our parish orientation. First, we seek to facilitate personal encounter with God. How do I enjoy a wonderful marriage or a healthy family relationship or a relationship with a dear friend? These all take work, constant attention. They don't just happen. How do I get my body into better physical shape? By exercising, by the discipline of exercising. So how do I have a personal encounter with God? It is beyond talking to God, but being able to listen in the quiet places God is speaking to me. The Ignatian spiritual exercises have walked me through some pretty wonderful steps and exercises to facilitate this encounter with God. But I must keep in mind, just as with any other exercise, I need to be disciplined and put in the work. Second, become a more discerning community. How do I make decisions? Often I want to go with my gut, those strong feelings that erupt at times, especially now as I have felt more and more stress in my days. How do I sit with these things prayerfully until I can find peace within the choice? It is often very difficult because I feel bombarded with opinions. Even though I have learned the tools to discern, I often struggle to have the patience to hold the choices in prayer until I find peace within the decision. Even though I struggle, I take comfort in knowing that I will find the answer in God's time. Third, be free of unnecessary attachments. I have a lot of wants. Some of these are material items, and some of them are not. This pandemic has shown me how strongly I want to be in control of my schedule, who I see and when, what I do and when, and etc. How do I see myself surrendering to God all that I have, all that I am, my entire will? Am I able to hold myself in balance before all these created gifts, insofar as I have a choice and am not bound by some obligation? I should not fix my desires on health or sickness, wealth or poverty, success or failure, a long life or a short one. For everything has potential of calling forth from me a deeper response to my life in God. I thought the struggle of letting go of so many possessions when my husband Carl and I moved into a smaller house was freeing myself from attachments. But when the pandemic hit, it became evident that there was much more that I was holding on to still, and not just the physical items. I have not yet come very close to complete surrendering to God. Here is a quote I have read from an Ignatian website. Sorry, I don't remember what website it was, but it spoke so clearly to me. Freedom. It isn't the ability to do whatever I want. It is letting go of what I don't need, letting go of what is holding me back from becoming the complete person God intends me to be, the best form of me that I was created to be. I just need to remind myself that this isn't only about the physical things that I need to let go. And lastly, and deepen our connection to the mission and identity of the Society of Jesus. Ignatius asked us to be men and women for others. He sends us to go set the world on fire. He signed in Latin as Ite inflammate omnia. I actually have that stenciled above my front door. My formation and my personal experiences through the Ignatian spiritual exercise propels me to action with my God-given gifts. As part of a Jesuit parish, being part of a Jesuit parish encourages us to become familiar with its charism of Ignatian spirituality through the spiritual exercises. This Jesuit parish wishes for all its parishioners to be able to get in touch with their deepest self, in that space where we find that God speaks to us. Many of us are already familiar with the Ignatian spiritual exercises and how they show a way to God. But I personally need to remind myself that they are exercises and take discipline to continue to do. The spiritual exercises also lead us to ways of discernment, and not just discernment over the serious problems we sometimes face, but it is a tool to help us follow the Lord better, hour by hour, and day by day, and moment by moment. Life is so complex. We are in constant need to make choices in social, economic, cultural, and political areas of our life. A parish that is led by the Spirit and is able to discern with the community. A parish that is led by the Spirit is able to discern with the Spirit together. Therefore, is a parish that is able to serve our fellow parishioners, our community, our city, and further. Ignatian spirituality is woven into what we do as a parish. Thank you.